Welcome to New Earth Frequency, a space for awakening souls remembering who they truly are. We are living in the time of profound transformation, where hidden truths are surfacing and human consciousness is expanding. On this channel, we explore ascension, timeline healing, hidden knowledge, and spiritual sovereignty. I share insights, reflections, and teachings to support those who are awakening and reclaiming their creator consciousness. If you feel called to truth, awareness, and inner transformation, you're in the right place. If everything feels too much right now, don't try to fix it. Because what you are feeling is not something you think your way out, it's something your body is already holding. And in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what to do in the moment it happens. Not later, not after you calm down, right in it. So welcome back, my beautiful soul. It's so good that you're here today because you don't want to miss all this practical advice I will give you in this video today. So it is 2026, the year of the fire horse, the year of disclosure, the year of insane astrological constellations, the year of timeline jumping and important collective choices. All of that is not something you can fix by thinking differently. It is something you learn to work with. So most people deal with overwhelm or stress or panic, frustration, right? All of these juicy emotions in one of the two ways. They either distract themselves or try to fix the feeling as quickly as possible. But overwhelm doesn't come from weakness. It comes from activation without regulation. So from your system holding more than it knows how to process. And if you're on, kind of awakening, in a work path, healing journey, all of this spectrum, you're not becoming too sensitive. You're becoming more aware, more conscious of what was already always there. So the work is not to shut it down. The work is to build capacity to stay with it safely. And the first step to overwhelm, or when you feel overwhelmed, is always to pause, right? So we have to recognize it, and then we can pause and notice what is happening in your body, because the body is the first, level that signals you that something is not working here. So it is not the story, it is not the meaning, not why is this happening to me. That's not the first reaction we want to have, because the moment you jump into the story, the moment you give, the ego or the analytical mind the steering wheel, you leave your body. You dissociate, you distract. And overwhelm lies in the body, like all our emotional body, right? It's in the body, felt sense. So instead, bring your attention here. Where do I feel this? Is it tight, heavy, contracted, numb? Or is it still moving? So these body sensations might feel like, pressure in the chest, or a tension in your jaw, or a drop in your stomach, or buzzing, restless energy, right? We have to be really still, because that's why we need the pause to feel and recognize all these bodily sensations. So, and it's really important now that we don't analyze, right? That we're not labeling that this is good, this is bad, I don't want to feel this way, I better feel this way. This is where most people skip ahead, right? So this part is really important. Before you try to calm yourself down, let yourself actually feel what's there, right? Not the full intensity all at once, right? So then we are in overwhelm again, but a titration, right? A little bit. So enough that your body knows, oh, okay, I am allowed to feel this, right? Which was maybe dangerous in the past. I was not allowed to feel any emotion, or not the negative ones. I was shunned, or I was labeled, or I was banished or punished when I did this, right? Because a lot of overwhelm doesn't come from the emotion itself, it comes from immediately regulating. So try to stay with the sensation for a moment. Breathe into it. Let tears drop if they have to. Let a scream come out if it has to. Whatever it is, it can also be subtle, right? Let it be there without rushing it away, right? You might notice it shifts, or it expands, or it softens, or even intensifies briefly. And this is all the energy starting to move, right? Because the moment you move into direct sensation, you shift out of your mental overwhelm into present moment awareness, right? This is what we want to try to do. Drop from the head into the body. And now that you've actually, made contact with your feeling, whatever it is, now we can regulate. But not in the way you've probably been taught or never been taught. Lots of us, we've never been taught how to regulate, because our parents and their parents and their parents all have been dysregulated most of the time. So we came into a dysregulated environment, right? Our caregivers were not able to co-regulate with us because they were dysregulated. So no one ever taught us how to regulate ourselves and to expand our nervous system, contracted, expanded, and so on and so forth. So most people use regulation today as a way to get rid of the feeling. I was one of those candidates, right? When I discovered regulating my nervous system with breath work or with body movements, every time I got into a trigger and I felt something, I immediately switched to, okay, now I have to sit down, do breath work, regulate myself. But actually, I wasn't even feeling the feeling at the first, stage of it. So I just, got straight into breathing without even feeling, okay, where's the sensation? What is it doing to me? Like just letting it flow in my body, right? And your body is feeling that, right? It feels the control. It feels the fixing. It feels the urgency. And it feels the subtle message, this shouldn't be here. And exactly that, paradoxically, keeps the system activated, right? Because with the breath work, with the whatever it is, somatic yoga, we are keeping our system activated because it has to do something, right? We want to regulate it, but we keep it activated with doing something. So instead, we shift the intention. You're not regulating to make the feeling disappear, that you constantly feel better or immediately feel better. You're regulating to say, it's safe for this to be here, and I am here with it. And then you can try to, inhale slowly through the nose, exhale longer than the inhale, right? And don't do this to calm down. Do it while staying connected to the sensation you noticed earlier. So then let your shoulders, soften, but don't force relaxation, right? Like unclench your jaw. You all know this kind of stuff. I'm just, bringing awareness to it. But, stay present with whatever is underneath. And you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, right? Not as a technique, but as a natural move, because you want to get in contact with yourself, right? As a signal, as I got you, we got this, right? I'm connecting myself to myself, right? And this is what the body notices. Then you can breathe and feel at the same time. Because this is where the real shift actually happens. Now, when you escape the feeling, your body realizes, okay, she doesn't want to feel this, or he doesn't want to feel this. Like, I'm super weird, we're not really in contact, we don't belong together, like you and your body. But when you do exactly this, what I just told you, your body realizes, I can feel this and I am still safe, right? I can hold myself. You can also lean your back against something solid while you're doing it, or feel your feet pressing into the ground, or let your body be supported by a mat or a cushion, whatever gives you comfort and a comfortable feeling. And again, doing all of this not to disconnect, but to stay with support. And now comes a real mind-blowing fact, you guys. Regulation is not about calming your nervous system. I thought this, that's why I did it. It's about increasing your capacity to stay present with activation. Boom, mic drop. So it's a completely different thing, because a regulated system is not a calm system. It is a system that can feel intensity, process emotion, and not lose itself in it. And I think this is why many people are stuck in exactly this phase with this kind of thing, regulation. Right? Even after many years of healing work, many of us learned how to calm ourselves, but not how to stay with ourselves. And once there is a bit more space, a bit more openness, let the emotion move wherever I want to go instead of suppressing it. I mean, we all know this, right? But are we doing it? Maybe sometimes. So this can look like slow movement, or shaking your hands, or stretching, or even letting sound come out. Sound is so healing, right? Humming, or sighing, or, quiet vocal releases. Really, really good for the vagus nerve. And your body processes emotion through movement, through sound, through expression, not through analysis or thinking a way out of it. And if you feel like crying in this moment, let it happen. I love to cry. It's really a really big release for me, right? I mean, my son is cancer, so I'm kind of used to crying, but yeah, let it just out. If you feel anger, if you feel whatever energy it is, let it move. And you're not losing control when you do this. I think this is where it becomes a little bit tricky, right? Surrendering into the feeling, believing that we cannot hold the emotion, or that the emotion will overwhelm us so strongly that we will, lie in bed for 5 days and not coming out of it again. You're allowing completion in this very moment when you're letting it be there and flow out of your body. Now, let's go a layer deeper, because overwhelm is rarely just too much emotion. What's actually happening in this is that there is a specific inner system activation occurring, a state in you that has taken over your perception of the moment. And it has a very clear signature, right? Your thinking narrows and your body contracts and your emotional tolerance drops and everything just starts to feel so urgent or so unsolvable, right? Like what I just said, like I just can't hold it anymore. But instead of interpreting that, we turn toward it directly, not intellectually, but internally. And we can ask ourselves inside, what is actually happening in me right now? But don't rush to find the answer. Sometimes the answer is not coming straight away and is not coming at all in this moment. It will just arrive later. But ask this question to your body and notice what just emerges first. Or if it just still and silent, that's also perfectly fine, right? But maybe you feel a sensation before a thought, or a mood before the story, or you feel like a little tone inside of your body, because that is where the part reveals itself. And this is not a concept, like the actual state is revealing itself. And if you can, stay with that a little bit longer and ask yourself, well, if this state I just discovered had a message for me, what would it be protecting me from feeling right now? Because there's what most people miss in this scenario here. You are not speaking to a younger version in an abstract way. You are noticing that a certain version, a certain part of you, may it be a vulnerable young part or a protective part, becomes dominant under stress, under overwhelm, and is very specific in its needs that wants to get visible. So it can be slowing things down, or reducing demands, or stopping input, or not being alone with the feeling. And it's not symbolic at all, it's super functional. You might notice subtle shifts, inside of yourself, like your attention wanting to escape, or a sense of urgency in the chest or the throat, a collapse in energy or motivation, or a strong impulse to shut everything off. And that is the part. That is the actual activation pattern. Now, instead of trying to fix it, you will do something completely, radically different with it. You stop negotiating with it. You stop trying to change it. You stay present long enough for one thing to happen. Your system realizes, oh, I am not being overridden right now. I am not being self-abandoned right now. And that moment alone is so powerful because your system starts to reorganize the intensity. Not because you explained anything, but because you stopped abandoning it. And this is actually what deeper healing work looks like, right? Not identifying with the parts. We have our adult self, which we have to marinate in and get to know, and cultivate. And then we have our little family, like all these different vulnerable younger parts, all these protective parts we want to get in touch with, we want to get to know, right? We want to support them, integrate them, love them, see them, fulfill their needs. We are withholding interference long enough for our system to reveal itself with all these tiny moments in overwhelm or stress or frustration or anger. And from there, you don't force healing. You just stay in contact. You just build the relationship. And that is the actual shift. And then after we explored all of that in a moment, we will go into the grounding phase. We will bring ourselves back into the present moment. How we do this? We can look around in our space. To orient, we can name 3 things we see, or 2 things to touch, or 1 thing that we hear. And then feel your body right now. Because overwhelm often comes from past experiences or future projections. Grounding brings you back to what is actually happening right now. And most of the time, in the exact moment, you are safer than your body believes. And this is part of, almost nobody is honest about. What you are calling overwhelm is not an emotional pattern. For me, it's a control collapse. Because when your system gets overloaded, you don't lose emotions, you lose choice. Like there is no space between feeling and action. And this is why so many healing tools don't change that much in depth, because they are used after the collapse has already happened. Not inside the moment where you actually lose access to yourself. So the real shift is not emotional. The real shift is, can you stay in contact with yourself at the exact moment when your system wants to leave you? And if you can't, then nothing you learn afterwards will matter that much in real life. You will still react too fast, overextend, shut down, or lose clarity under pressure, stress, overwhelm. So this work is not about becoming calm. It is about noticing something much more fundamental. I am about to disappear from myself and staying there long enough that you don't. That is the real shift. Not emotional control, not positivity, not even healing, but the ability to not exit yourself under intensity. So, if you take anything from this video today, let it be this. This isn't about escaping what to feel. It's about learning to work with it. And the more you learn to meet it like this, with everything we just discussed, the more capacity you build. Not overnight, but steadily. And that changes everything. So, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. And please let me know in the comments what you have been experiencing lately, what resonated a lot with you in this video today. And if you want more guided, grounded, real connection and support and community and guidance, please feel free to subscribe my channel. Please feel free to share my content. And I'm really happy that you're here. So my friend, this is all my love to you, and I wish you a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye!